Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about taking back control of your focus. We're going to break down exactly why it's so hard to concentrate these days, and more importantly, give you a real science backed plan to train your brain.
And this is the truth that nobody really tells you. The ability to concentrate, it's not something you're just born with. Nope, it's a skill you can train. And in today's world, that skill is basically a superpower. It gives you a massive advantage.
Because right now, whether you realize it or not, there's a battle for your attention, and some pretty powerful industries have designed a world to keep you distracted, anxious, and always scrolling. So the real question is, are you going to let them win? Okay, let's start by understanding the enemy in this fight for focus. Because it's not just about willpower, it's about the environment we're all swimming in. You know, our brains evolved to hunt for food, to notice survival cues, to focus intensely on the one thing that really mattered. But today we hunt for memes, likes, and notifications in this constant, overwhelming digital amusement park. And this is not an accident. That little impulse you feel to check your phone, that's your brain looking for a tiny reward, a little hit of dopamine. It works just like a slot machine in Vegas, keeping you hooked, anxiously waiting for the next little win. It's a system designed from the ground up to be addictive. And the cost of all this constant switching is huge. Every single time you glance at your phone while you're trying to work, a part of your brain's attention actually stays behind. And get this, research shows it can take up to 20 minutes to fully get your focus back after just one interruption. So check your phone twice an hour, and you could be losing a massive chunk of your most productive time. So, how in the world do we fight back? Well, the secret is understanding your brain's incredible ability to change. And this isn't science fiction, folks. It's a fundamental property of your nervous system. So here's the crucial point. Your brain is not fixed. Think of it more like clay, constantly being reshaped by your experiences, your actions, the environment you're in. This isn't some rare event. It's happening right now, this very second, as you process this information. And the key here, the really empowering part, is that you have direct control over these things. You can literally decide how your brain gets wired by choosing what you learn, how you move, and the kind of environment you create for yourself. Think of it this way. Every time you give in to a distraction, you're doing one rep for team unfocused. But, and this is important, every single time you notice your mind has wandered and you gently bring your attention back, you strengthen that muscle of focus. You are physically reinforcing the neural pathways for concentration. All right, let's move on to a really practical philosophy for using this neuroplasticity. An idea developed by computer science professor Cal Newport. This is all about putting that brain training into a daily structure. You see, most of us, believe it or not, spend about 60% of our time on what Newport calls shallow work. You know, emails, meetings, coordinating little tasks. It feels productive, but it's pretty low value. Deep work, on the other hand, is that rare, high-value state of true, uninterrupted focus where you create things that are actually hard to replicate. And Newport argues that deep work doesn't just make you more productive, it actually makes your life more meaningful. By concentrating deeply, you engage with the world in a much richer way, and you create things that truly matter. A perfect example of this in action is Bill Gates and his famous Think Weeks. He literally isolates himself to just read and think without any interruptions. He gets rid of all distractions to unlock his brain's full potential. Now, you don't need a cabin in the woods to do this, but the principle is exactly the same. Create sacred, protected time for deep thinking. Okay, so how do you actually do this? Let's get practical. Here is a science-backed workout for your brain that you can literally start tomorrow. Look, this isn't about becoming a monk overnight. It's all about consistency. Start your day without that flood of digital noise. Use your breath as an anchor before you dive into work. Create a distraction-free zone, for real. And work like a sprinter, not a marathon runner. Remember, each time you bring your focus back, it's like one more rep at the gym. And the benefits here go way beyond just work. You'll find yourself more present with your friends, with your family, actually hearing what they're saying. You'll start to enjoy the little details of life that used to just pass you by in a blur of distraction. You regain control over your own time and your own mind. Now, let's look at a more high-tech way to put neuroplasticity to work. This is a pretty advanced technique that trains your brain by giving it essentially a real-time performance monitor.
Think of it like this. It's guided practice with a live scoreboard for your brain. You see or hear positive feedback, like a nice sound or a change in a video game, whenever your brain gets into a state of focus. Your brain then learns to associate that state with a reward, which makes it way easier to get there on command. This technique is so powerful, it's actually a well-established treatment for conditions like ADHD. It essentially trains the brain to dial down the brainwave patterns that are associated with inattention and dial up the patterns that are linked to sustained, calm focus. This is proof that we can learn to fundamentally alter our brain's default state. So if you take just one thing away from all this, please let it be this. You are not stuck with the brain you have. You have the power to change your brain and to reclaim your attention from a world that's basically designed to steal it. The world, it's not going to slow down for you, but you can learn to slow down your mind. You can choose to protect your attention as if it's a rare treasure. So the only question left is, what will you do with that power?